Minneapolis, Minnesota, 80,000 Somalians are on the brink of deportation. They're getting evicted. They're getting deported. Actual Congress people are getting arrested now, finally, because it seems like they were involved in the giant fraud that's been going on. But here's the really crazy twist. This is Jacob Frey, the current mayor of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And as you can see, here he is, eating what appears to be a giant pile of shit to show off the glory that is Somali culture. Now listen, I'm sure that they have some food that's delicious, but this is crazy. Now, for those of you that don't understand the lore behind Jacob Frey over here, he won an election against a Somalian guy because he rallied the other Somalian clans against him. He started a Somalian civil war and came out on top. He's the Lisan Il-Gaib of woke Jews. It's the craziest thing of all time. So here he is, eating traditional Somali food to show how Somali culture is actually a massive positive on Minnesota. Oh, look at this dude. Look at him. Sorry. Oh, yeah. That's the best thing ever. He can't swallow it. He refuses to swallow it. And here he is. Instead of taking another bite, he wants to make, dude, he wants to make it look like he's eating it. So he just, he mixes it and plays with it for like, he still hasn't swallowed it. And he's like, oh, yeah. Oh, that's the good stuff. Bro's eating a plate of vomit and he's doing his absolute best. Oh my god. And anyway, that's how he won the election. He sucked up to these people enough. That's crazy. This is actually how he won the election, because he sucked up to these absolute, like, retards, man. It's crazy. Nux, don't call them retarded. That's going too far. Well, actually, the average IQ is 68. The average Somalian IQ is 68. Anything below 70 is considered retarded. The average Somalian is actually retarded. I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm just like saying that after 1,400 years of inbreeding, it happens to society, I guess. So here he is, mouth full of what appears to be shit, and he's making believe he's loving it, refuses to swallow it, and plays with his food. It's crazy. So, like, bro, dude, you don't understand. You do not understand the memes. The memes are absolute cinema. The memes are crazy. Bro, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, no, really, that's kind of what it looked like. I'm not gonna lie, it's same exact vibes. So Mayor Frey over here, this is him himself. He decided to pose this: when they come for one of us, they come for all of us.
It really does feel like now could be the moment where the tide does in fact change. Because if you look around this room, yes, you are seeing the representation of all of us coming together and rallying around a common cause. Yes. But what you also see is a visual representation of love, of resilience, and
resilience. So they ran away from their country that they like more than America to come to America. Makes sense.
Strength. Yeah. What you see is a visual representation of we have your back, and when you come for one of us, you come for all of us.
Base! Get them all out! Dude is spitting. Dude is cooking as he delivers the speech in his socks. Mayor of Minneapolis, ladies and gentlemen. The chief at sucking up. I've never seen a suck up bigger than this guy. It's absolutely diabolical. Don't worry, we'll deport you with their people who are robbing the taxpayer, the American. I love this image! I'm sorry. It's the best thing I've ever seen. Rome, the year 320. Rome in the year 320. Somalia in the year 2025. I can't, man. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. I am not trying to be rude, bro. I really am not. I'm just saying, man, we are literally importing infinite retards, bro. We're importing infinite retards into our countries. Oh my god. So Ilhan Omar is in big trouble. It looks like she's actually being investigated by all this.
Well, now investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
Oh,
many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds. Well, now...
Yep. So this is getting really scary for Ilhan Omar. She's very likely going to get arrested or deported. She seemingly commit marriage fraud, okay? Immigration fraud. Actual just regular tax fraud. This is insane levels of corruption that we're dealing with, man. And it's crazy. And everyone is talking about this. This is the biggest story in America.
Fraud investigators are finding in Minnesota is growing by the day. Kelly Loeffler, who leads the Small Business Administration, says in the 2 days her agency has been investigating the state, they've uncovered at least $1 million in fraud. Just 2 days in. Several of the whistleblowers in Minnesota have also told lawmakers they believe the total amount of fraud could total up to more than $8 billion.
So the estimate was a few hundred million. That was the original estimate. After research, the estimate was $1 billion. Now the estimate is $8 billion of fraud. It's not a conspiracy anymore. We are importing people that are actually raping our land. Some literally.
Governor Tim Walz, who is up for re-election, is under fire for all of this happening under his watch. But he says they have paused these programs. They've brought in outside auditors to get an idea of how far-reaching this fraud was. They're taking steps to keep it from happening again. And he's defending his management of the state while also taking shots at Republicans and the president.
Is that not insane? So this dude was in charge while at least it seems like $8 billion of fraud took place under his watch. All right. And these are his voters that were the fraudsters. All right. Let's make it clear. It was his voters that committed all this fraud. You're telling me that this dude didn't know what was going on? All right. I don't believe it. All right. I don't believe it even a little bit. Doge uncovered this and we're ignored. Yeah, I believe that. Now, the crazy thing is, and this is wild, Tim Walz did one of two things. And I want to make this very clear. One of two things. Option A, he was part of the fraud. He knew everything. He was involved. He should go get arrested immediately. Option B, he was absolutely outsmarted by people with the average IQ of 68. All right? Which honestly is worse. I would rather be part of the fraud. I would rather be part of the fraud, okay, than having been known as the guy that was outsmarted by an inbred population with an average IQ of 68. All right, I don't know. That would be my personal choice. But this dude is like a gigatard. This dude is unbelievably retarded.
And in spite of the headwinds we're up against, Minnesota ranks economically, economic growth, happiness, number of people insured, education levels near the very top.
Dude, these rankings mean nothing. You lie on everything. Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me.
So I'll tell you.
Dude, the Somalian community is 42% on welfare. Or 42% of them are not making a living at all, and we are funding them. The average taxes paid by a Somalian is $797 a year. Okay, are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? $797 a year in taxes. That's the average Somalian. We are losing billions of dollars through welfare, Medicare, all that shit, plus fraud, for the record, as well as paying jails that are housing criminals, as well as all the people that are getting raped and murdered because of some people that were imported that really shouldn't have been. Like, are we on the same page? Like, this is insane. You've got to get out of here, bro.
What? I have no interest in having this state look like Oklahoma or Mississippi. And if folks are going to commit crimes here, thinking because our generous spirit and our programs that we have is going to give them some kind of cover, they are sadly mistaken.
Yeah, Minnesota is also now home to the single largest pandemic fraud scheme in the country. And Republicans argue that Walz and other Democrats opened the door to this.
This is an objective fact that they opened the door. The question is whether they were involved, but they opened the door. I'm sorry, man. This is absolutely diabolical. It's truly insane at how bad it got. So now,
investigators are finding Minnesota is growing by the day.
The reason why this is getting really hairy is because it turns out this one guy that was arrested for this fraud scheme, one of the 78 Somalians that were arrested for this fraud scheme, a guy by the name of Abdul Dahir Ibrahim, obviously a straight white man from Somalia, a straight white Christian probably, I would say. Turns out this guy was a good friend of Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar.
All right, this news just breaking moments ago. Fox News has obtained photos of one of the Somali illegal immigrants wrapped up in the Minnesota fraud scandal, posing with several high-profile Minnesota Democrats.
Now, how does that happen? How does that happen? Let me ask you. There's no way that they didn't know what was going on. Like, there is no fathomable way. Like, they're going to keep yapping and talking about how there's no way they're catching criminals. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. What is going on?
Including,
I can't believe the Mossad tricked the Somalians into scamming America.
Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, and Governor Tim Walz. The man pictured is Abdul Dahir Ibrahim. He entered the country in 2000 and has had an order for removal since 2004.
Understand, since 2004, this dude had an order for removal. He managed to get so high up after all of this, all right? He managed to get so high up, buddies with senators and congresspeople and governors, that he was wrapped up in this $8 billion fraud scandal. People are talking about his hairline. Yeah, this is 1,400 years of inbreeding.
He also has a prior conviction in Canada for asylum and welfare fraud. ICE tells Fox News.
Oh, good. So this dude has a history of piracy.
Ibrahim was granted temporary protected status for 10 years, but should have never been eligible. We are going to have more on this in our next hour.
Absolute insane. It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting how much advantage is taken of us from like all these people. And the leftoids, they do their absolute best to say, no, why would you deport Abdul Ibrahim? Why would you deport him? He's just a pirate that's come here to rape and pillage our bounty. Like, this is crazy, bro.
Not have been eligible for temporary.
Look at this, man.
Arrested more than because of the significant amount of fraud on his record. That was in 2004, but for some reason, Abdul Dahir Ibrahim was granted temporary protected status for 10 years, even after he had an order of removal. Altogether, DHS says it has arrested more than 12 individuals so far as part of its newly launched Operation Metro Surge in the Twin Cities. Those in arrest include 5 other Somalis, 2 of which have also been convicted of fraud.
Bro, what is happening? So the thing that never happens, happened. Are we on the same page? You know the thing that never happens according to the leftoids? The things that never happened, like immigrants committing fraud? What? That never happens. We've done the math, and it turns out illegal immigrants actually help us even more. Yeah. Get out of here. The thing that never happens way too often. This is like saying that a trans teacher groomed a student. It's like, what? What? No, that never happens. Yeah, right. We know it never happens, bro. We got to get them all out. Now, someone in my chat suggested perhaps taking him as an indentured servant to work for America, to work off the amount he stole. Based? All right. Anyway, bro, you don't understand how nuclear we are going on these asses. Like, we are actually going nuclear.
Based on what we have found so far, we believe that the Somali fraud operation in Minnesota is the single greatest theft of taxpayer dollars through welfare fraud in American history.
Wow. So you're telling me that the thing that never happens was the biggest welfare fraud scandal in American history? Wow. So that means you could say for the history, for the future, when we discuss illegal immigrants and how essentially they've been raping our land and, scamming us and killing us and shit like that, a future talking point is the biggest welfare fraud in American history was perpetrated by illegal aliens that came from Somalia that elected their politicians that they liked. All right. And those guys probably ran defense for them. There's no way Ilhan Omar didn't know anything about this. There's absolutely no way. Ilhan Omar was broke 5 years ago. She's now a congresswoman worth $40 billion. Or $40 million, sorry. How the fuck does that happen? Like, realistically. Oh, of course. Come on. Of course these people are all in on it. Get out of here. There's no way you don't know. Like, there's no way you're going to tell me that this entire government got absolutely fooled by 78 people with an IQ of 67. Like, there's no way. This didn't happen. Okay? You've got to be kidding me, bro.
We believe that we have only scratched the very top of the surface of how deep this goes. And you're familiar with all the scams with pretending that children have autism who are not in fact autistic, with pretending to enroll people in food programs when in fact nobody was ever enrolled, and engaging in massive fraud, lying, and theft.
The funniest part is these scams are so stupid. There's no way people could fall for this. It's like they claim that a certain restaurant, the size of a bathroom stall, okay? The size of a fucking bathroom stall. They claim that restaurant was serving 18,000 meals a day to poor kids during COVID. And it turns out that didn't happen. No shit. Like who falls for this? The answer is no one. I personally believe, this is my opinion, I believe that no one fell for this, that they didn't fool anyone, that they essentially got their elected officials in government to be so short-sighted and retarded 180,000 meals a day, even better. I think that they were so short-sighted and retarded. They were like, let's just scam them for $180 billion as fast as we can. We'll send it back to Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab in Somalia. They work with Al-Qaeda. We should send it all back to them as fast as possible. And they didn't realize that 5 years down the line, they're going to get absolutely fucking obliterated. In my opinion, that's exactly what happened. Right? Like, get out of here. Campaign contributions of $1 billion. You get out of here. I think that, listen, man. When a Jew commits fraud, he's playing the long game. All right? He hopes he's never going to get caught. All right? That's his goal. All right? He's like, yo, I'll scam you for a little bit every year for as many years as I can. All right? That's a Jewish scam. All right? All right? A black guy scam is more like, you know, covered face, I'll just rob the guy. That's more black guy scam, all right? I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm just trying to be honest, okay? Like, the white woman scam is every single time marry a rich guy and get divorced. That's the white woman scam, all right? We know, okay? That's the white woman scam. The Somalia scam is just be completely openly out in the open, bring in infinite Somalians, elect the politicians, scam the shit out of everybody, and end up absolutely obliterated in a few years down the line. I'm telling you, man. All right, that's it, bro. We got it. We have to have the racial scam convo. It's too important. I'm gonna get canceled, man. But I'm telling you, man. I just personally think we should not be importing people from countries that think rape is not so bad. This is my hot take.
And grift on a scale we've never seen before in American history. The total bill, the total tab for this is going to be far beyond the numbers we've already seen reported. We believe the state government is fully complicit in this scheme.
Oh, I'm so happy he says the quiet part out loud. Yes! Yes, Steven! That's what I cook! I agree.
And we believe that what we are going to uncover is going to shock the American people. Look, based on the records that we already have, and this is a significant undercount, by the way, 75% of the Somali population in Minnesota is on welfare. But that's likely a
75%? 75%. 75%. Oh my God, dude. Like, this is an actual blight on our civilization.
Significant undercount of just how much of a financial burden the Somali refugee population is imposing on this country.
Let me tell you all about my statistics. Channel your inner hate monger. Get rid of them. That's right, every single one of them. We gotta get them out of here immediately. Oh, yes, hate mace. I will give them all a hate mace enema. All right, we got, like, bro, you don't understand, man. We are living in God's timeline. So this is a Vietnamese man, and he made this video, and it went super viral, so I felt like it's super important to talk about it. And he's absolutely spitting here.
Since when the fuck did we have to bow down to certain communities?
Right? He saw, like, the video of Jacob Frey eating Somalian shit juice and making believe it was delicious, all right? And he's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Look, I'm Asian. I'm Vietnamese, okay? When we have our own communities, too, and our communities thriving. You know, we have businesses. We've been here only, what, less than 50 years after the 1975. Our communities are thriving throughout the United States. If you look at our numbers, there's only about 2 million of us here in the United States. And out of that 2 million people that we have, majority of us have businesses, scientists, engineers, doctors, bright mind people that given back to this country more than we've taken.
Based.
And we have never asked anybody to bow down or speak our language, okay?
That's right.
Since when the stupid-ass mayor of the little pirate motherfucking land pirate Somalian.
Yeah! Like, they give all immigrants a bad name, bro.
In Minnesota.
That's
to
right,
speak
baby.
their language and apologize.
Fuck these stupid bastards, assholes. Get them out of here. And remove them immediately. I don't care about emotional damage.
For those motherfucking crook.
Cook him!
Since when we have to do that?
That's right, baby.
This is just a fucking crook, and he's a Jewish dude. What a shame.
Jewish.
What a shame.
Honestly, so true. Bro, I'm telling you, man, 98% of the reasons why Jews get shit is from the woke Jews. I'm telling you, man, those woke Jews are diabolical.
What the fuck's wrong with him?
Honestly, so true. He's just completely correct. No lies detected. But the reality is, like, when you look at Asian communities, Vietnamese and Korean and Japanese people that come to America, they really integrate. They really integrate, and so does the Jews generally integrate too, you know? Like, and again, there isn't, like, you don't see Jews forcing people to speak their language. If you don't speak to us in Hebrew, we're not actually gonna, no one cares, man. It's insane. But the crazy thing is, like, you see the Somalian communities, and you see the mayor has to wear the Somalian clothes. He has to stand in his socks, giving a Somalian speech in Somalian, eating Somalian slop. Like, what are you doing, man? This is crazy. And, like, whenever I see these protests and, like, these community-wide scams, like, it's unbelievable. Look, man, there was recently a Somalian guy that got arrested for raping a 12-year-old, and the entire Somalian community came together to defend him. They all came, oh, no, he's a super good guy. He's a super good guy, man. He's so good. He's a wonderful man. Man of the people. Bro, he just raped a 12-year-old. Like, you don't see that in any other community, man. Well, not any other community, but not in Vietnamese communities, not in the Asian communities, not in the Jewish communities. Like, you literally don't. It's insane. It's absolutely crazy. Now, speaking of cultures that aren't blending with ours, the thing that never happened again. And the University of Delaware student was busted for an alleged mass shooting plot. Turns out he's an Afghan immigrant who came to the U.S. as a youth. Right? Another thing. The reason why I'm showing this to you is because Destiny just went on Piers Morgan to say, this is the first time an Afghan guy ever did anything. Yeah, all right. Anyway, just another one. Why not? This is a case in Portland, just to show you how fucked our society is when it comes to racism in general. Portland jury clears black man of assault because white man he stabbed had said the N-word. First of all, this is retarded. But second of all, the community note annihilates the story and blows it to pieces. Look at this. The headline neglects to mention the victim only used the racial slur after being stabbed. The article explicitly states there's no evidence the victim used the slur prior to being stabbed. What actually happened here was a black guy stabbed a white guy. The white guy said the N-word, and therefore they cleared the black guy of assault. Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? Bro, and we're living in this society where everyone's tiptoeing, no, I can't be racist. No, I can't be racist. What about the Somalians? You don't want to offend them at all. All right, let's see what's going on, because currently it seems like 80,000 Somalians are being forcibly evicted. The Trump deportation army is back and actually is invaded.
Ice is on the ground in Minnesota, and while agents are out there arresting people, some of the fraudsters who stole billions of dollars are living in neighborhoods just...
All right, I just want to see them get arrested, man. I want to see them dragged off.
Just like this.
Some fraudsters are still benefiting from their crimes even after being charged and convicted.
How is that possible?
From this 5-bed, 4.5-bath in Washington County to a $1 million house in Plymouth, complete with an indoor basketball court. My name is Eric Rasmussen. I'm a KSTP. Do you know?
Bro, these guys are so stupid. When you commit fraud, I probably shouldn't say this out loud. People are going to get the wrong idea. But when you commit fraud, you don't immediately buy a huge house and a fancy car. It looks suspicious, man. It looks suspicious, bro. But these guys are like, they'll scam the government and they'll buy it. Like, dude, this is the 67 IQ at work. Dude, this is what BLM did. BLM organizes a protest, raises money. All of a sudden, all the people that own BLM have fancy houses. You can't even make this up, bro. This is diabolical.
Oh, if the government
like actual Bugatti in a trailer park, and no one thinks anyone's gonna notice.
Is trying to take this house? We had to see these properties for ourselves. Each house owned by people convicted of fraud.
This was a big one.
You guys are retarded. The stupidity is off the charts. The craziest thing is, normally when like you see a scam, it's like, oh my god, the mastermind, he was insane. He started a cryptocurrency and convinced people in this gigantic investment opportunity, and not even none of that. We didn't even deal with any of this, bro. These dudes are just like, we brought in our people, we elected a retard into the government that lets us get away with everything, and then we get away with everything. We buy big house! Oh, we celebrate! This is like actually the 67 IQ scam. Like, bro, this is literally just like raw numbers have succeeded here.
Future, $250 million meant to help kids in need.
And I know I'm laughing, but like this is the nightmare, all right? We have to understand, America imported these retards, bro. America literally brought these guys in, man. Like, they opened the door to pirates. Like, we literally gave citizenship to a community of pirates.
But long after prosecutors filed paperwork to seize properties purchased with stolen taxpayer dollars, neighbors told 5 Investigates that still has not happened. Take former Safari restaurant owner Salim Saeed.
5 guilty verdicts now.
A jury convicted him and Feeding Our Future founder Amy Bach nearly 9 months ago.
Oh my God.
But we found Saeed and his wife are still the official owners of this $1.1 million house in Plymouth.
Great.
Fraud money funded their...
That's crazy, bro. The moment they get arrested for fraud, they need to sell the house immediately and return that money to the government or to the taxpayer. Like they're arrested, but they just keep all the shit that they bought. This is crazy, man.
$952,000 down payment.
No, but you're not allowed to be racist. We have to open our borders to everyone. Says a suicidal leftist, usually woman.
In 2021, and county records show they've racked up more than $50,000 in delinquent property taxes since then.
They're fraudsters. Why would they pay their taxes?
To the note I left.
And they didn't get arrested after that.
But a week later, we did see someone leaving
The
in a
news
Cadillac.
is
Prosecutors say they have to wait for Salim Saeed to be sentenced before they can take the property.
Oh, really?
But that doesn't explain this one. Records show the owner of this house in Willarney is Jonathan Ross, the husband of Sharon Ross.
We want to keep that program going.
The former...
It's under my husband's name. It's not under my name. You can't take the house. It's my husband's. I did the scam, not him. The starving children.
Of House of Refuge Twin Cities was sentenced to prison in February for her role in the Feeding Our Future fraud. That should have cleared the way for the government to take the property.
Yeah.
But we found a car registered to Ross's husband still sitting in the driveway.
Is it a Mercedes?
Abandoned?
We are also asking about this house in Burnsville.
Everyone's looks.
Is this Somali scamming Somalis? No! It's Somali scamming Americans. The #1 funder of the Al-Shabaab terrorist organization in Somalia is the Minnesota taxpayer. Are we on the same page? Like, dude, this is crazy.
Looks like they're getting away with it. Are these people being protected by officials in Minnesota?
That's the question. Dude, I want to see a crackdown, man.
Who also may have benefited from this fraud?
Owned by
Ilan Omar?
former Feeding Our Future employee Abdi Idle. Do you know Mr. Idle? Right before being named in the first indictments in
wasn't even the
2022,
owner.
Amy Bach's right-hand man fled the country. Do you know where he is? That's the voice of his ex-wife, according to a second person who spoke to me from behind the front door.
They still live there.
Sure enough, a month after investigators say Idle put down $95,000 on his new house, records show he and his wife filed for divorce.
So now they get to keep the
agreement,
home?
living in the same house, they wrote.
But at the exact same time,
That is unbelievable. Dude scams money, is about to get arrested, writes a divorce, wife keeps the house. Holy fuck, man.
Minnesota's governor says he's in danger inside his own home.
And I'll tell you what, in my time on this,
Oh, I love this clip.
I'd never seen this before. People driving by my house and using the R word.
Based! Based!
In front of people.
Oh,
This is shameful.
people are calling him names.
And I have yet to see an elected official, a Republican elected official, say, you're right, that's shameful.
Bro, this dude straight up endorsed the killing of, maybe not the killing of Charlie Kirk, but the firebombing of Teslas. He underplayed the killing of Charlie Kirk. In my opinion, Melissa Hortman's death the blood is on the hands of these people as well. Asmongold defended Waltz on the retard incident. Honestly, I don't care. I don't care. Ma'am, you are a pussy. Okay, Tim's, ma'am, you are a vagina. I don't care. Okay? Get out of here. People calling him retard. They should call him retard. He is retarded.
Why
Look,
that
this is
is?
what Donald Trump has.
Hey, Nux, you made a wrong turn. Where are you going? I have somewhere to be. Drives by Tim Waltz's house to call him retarded.
Done. He's normalized this type of hateful behavior.
Not the hateful behavior.
And this type of language. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. And when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully him back.
All right, so this dude will be like, we have to bully the shit out of Donald Trump, man. We have to bully the shit out of Donald Trump. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. And you're upset people call you retarded?
What we should demonize is people like Elon Musk.
So he's
We should demonize Elon Musk. That's what he says. We should demonize Elon Musk. We need to bully the shit out of Donald Trump. And he called me retarded. Why isn't this being condemned?
nasty to all kinds of people, and people are calling him names, allegedly, with no evidence, and he's outraged.
Names, allegedly, with no evidence? I have verifiable evidence that he's retarded. I'm sorry, man. Allegedly, he's a retard.
Remember just a few days ago when people...
He didn't really defend Waltz. He just said that people shouldn't go to his house and do that. They should only do it if they see him on the street. That's valid. That's valid. But again, in my opinion, going to Tim Walz's house and calling him a retard is infinitely better than protests and against ICE agents' families, as an example. Like, again, we're not even in the same level, all right? You have ICE agents that are being shot, okay? All right? And then you have Governor Tim Walz, who was called retarded. Get out of here.
Got mad at Trump for calling Ilhan Omar names. Well, she's doing it too. And she's talking about other Somali Americans.
Oh, yeah.
Watch this. Some of us try to dismiss it, saying, oh, that person just talks too much, it doesn't mean anything, or leave them alone, that's my relative. You probably met them in coffee shops. You know exactly the kind of people I'm talking about. You've sat with them at Starbucks. Maybe you've seen them at the mosque once in a while. You've gone to parties with them. You know who I mean. You've seen them.
We need to get rid of these people. Yeah, I've seen this a while ago. I've been covering the Somalia situation since before everyone else, because as a professional racist like I am, I've actually been very on top of the Somalia shit for a long time. I saw this clip going around. I think Asmongold just reacted to this clip too. Like, I've been on top of this, bro. I have been here. We need to get rid of these people, says the anti-deportation person. Like, basically, for those of you that are unaware, Ilhan Omar came from Somalia. She wasn't some poor, tragic refugee. She was part of a tyrannical dictatorship in Somalia that was overthrown. And then she ran here. And now she's trying to reignite her clan's power in America. All right? I want to make you understand the lore here. All right? She's trying to reignite her clan's strength, which includes this guy, Omar Fateh, who is also part of that same Mahmoud clan. So she is trying, and she failed, because the current mayor, the woke Jew that's eating Somalian slop, he went out there and he united all the rival Somalian clans against her. This is diabolical. And first of all, I want to make this very clear. Absolutely none of this will help America in any way. And that is the fundamental underlying note that is super important here. Immigration should be for America's sake. This is not a gift, all right? Like, it shouldn't be a gift. It's not a right. There's no reason why immigration needs to be looked at from the perspective of course, the Mahmoud clan in Somalia deserves to be here. Get out of here.
So she says that there are people in her community that do not improve it at all. And look at her face. She means it.
Yeah, because she's talking about the rival Somali clans. That's exactly what she's talking about.
She really wants to do what she's saying here, but when Trump says it, oh, he's so terrible. This is unprecedented. This is an attack on an entire community. She's doing the exact same thing. Wow. She wants to kick people.
Because she's talking to Somalians, so she immediately reverted back into her dictator phase. And then she talks to Americans, and she reverts into her radical leftist phase. And now you're probably wondering, wait a second, these ideologies don't align. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm going to tell you something that's truly diabolical. It's going to change your mindset and perspective. This is Islam. This is the Islam code switch. It's we will execute the gays, and then they will vote for the leftists. All right? We don't believe in transgenderism, and then they will advocate for transgenderism. This is the code switch that every single one of them does. The radical Islamists, every single one of them does this code switch. All of them. And literally all of them. Literally every single one. It's like the classic takia of all time. So, she'll go out there and she'll be like, we have to kick them out. We have to remove them. And then she'll speak in English. We can't deport anybody. We all deserve to be here together. Fucking snake. And no one wants to call it out like I do. And it's so frustrating. Like, I see so many people talking about this, literally dancing around the radical Islam issue that's in the direct center, man. The direct center. No one wants to touch that. Everyone is doing their absolute best to stay away from it. But this is some snake shit. This isn't just hypocrisy. This is following her ideology to its core, which is, under Islamic tenets, be radical, and under American tenets, lie to them. Vote for the party that will help you import more of you. It's so obvious, and I wish more people would talk about this.
People out.
And for the record, no, this isn't every single Muslim, but this is this is every radical Muslim. Every single radical, it thinks exactly this way, and there are billions of radicals.
This is This is so crazy. Why does she need to defend herself if everything's perfect and there aren't?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. Why does she need to defend herself? Bro, dude, like, these people don't understand. Sharia law, for any of those that are unaware, is basically Islamic law. The way Sharia law operates is it's everything that the leftists don't advocate for. It's pro-slavery. It's pro-abusing your wife. It's pro-punishing your wife for not wearing head coverings and stuff in public. Like, and I mean, like, giving them lashes and stuff, sometimes executing them. It's pro-honor killing family members even, etc. It's all of these things, all right? It's, you know, execute gay people, transgenderism is bad, you know, it's all the things. It's all of the things. Every single tenet of Sharia law is anti-leftist. So why are all the Muslims leftist? Not all, but why are the radical Muslims leftists? Why? Think about it just for a second. Why? Well, it's really simple. They're the guys that are going to open the border to import infinite retards. It's like, it's insane. Not a single one of their actual ideologies align. They just know that the leftists are the unprincipled people that they'll be able to just convince to open the borders for infinite of them just for their vote. And then they'll come in and then that's literally the goal. That's literally the goal. And it's so crazy because it's so obvious if you actually just look into the tenets of what radical Islamists actually believe.
Don't improve the Somali community living in America. This looks like an attack to me, man.
I'm watching the clip of
Illinois. Dude, this guy's so based. DeSantis is awesome. Wait, and then Ilhan Omar calls Jews foreign agents. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Oh my God, all these Jews. There's the Zionists. The Zionists ally with Israel. They're foreign agents. Meanwhile, goes to her Somali community. Yeah.
Omar.
Yep.
You know, this is somebody that fled this, you know, terrible country, no rights, and then she comes to the United States and uses our freedoms to try to make us more like the country she fled. How the that make any sense?
Right, she's attacking America when she's not attacking
over many decades as a
people.
Government, obviously, you know, not me or current Trump administration, but what had happened to bring in so many people who really don't necessarily want to assimilate. And I think some of these candidates who run there talk about they're not America first, but Somali first.
They did say that.
So it's really a failure of the elites in this country with how they've handled immigration, particularly by putting Americans last.
Right. Well, they say it's racist if you say that all these Somalis stole $1 billion.
Yeah, that the race card is what they're trying to do to evade accountability.
Right. They're using that as a way to try and shut down these investigations into people who stole massive amounts of money and bought luxury homes and are still living there in some cases. But the local government here and a slow-rolling justice system aren't the only ones protecting criminals in Minnesota. Watch this.
But immigration agents might be...
Yeah, crazy. Freedom religion? Bro, dude. I love when people in chat try to, like, to debate me. Freedom of religion, bro. You're hilarious and adorable. Islam is one of the most anti-freedom of religion religions of all time. According to Islam, if you're Christian, you get the death penalty for praying to a false god. That is Islam, okay? They don't believe in freedom of religion. They want to use our freedom, which is the freedom of religion, against us, okay? You have to understand, man. And this it's like it's actually in the code, all right? This is it's crazy that people fall for this shit. Like, anyone that does any reading knows how ridiculous this is, and no one actually wants to say it out loud because they're afraid of being smeared as Islamophobic.
Ones protecting criminals in Minnesota. Watch this.
But immigration agents might be met with a chilly reception at some Minnesota businesses.
Oh, really?
They have posted...
They have a Palestine flag. Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's because it is the issue. It's the Trojan horse, man.
Signs stating that ICE is not welcome inside.
Watch what happens.
W's Jason Ramswell explains when businesses can refuse to cooperate and how one restaurant manager says she stood her ground.
Oh, look at this.
They said to me, we're from the Department of Homeland Security.
Ola Arepa in Minneapolis was...
Bro, her name is Arepa? Deport. I'm pushing the deport button. Deport. Get her out. Bro, what are we doing? It's like, bro, her name is Arepa, dude. Oh, fuck, man. That's rough, buddy.
Heading into dinner rush Wednesday night when two plainclothed individuals enter the restaurant. That's General Manager Naomi.
Oh, that's my buddy, Jihad. We're deporting him. We're deporting him. I don't care how good of a guy he is. His name is Jihad. He can't be here. I'm sorry. We need ground rules. We call them the judge a book by its cover ground rules. That's right, baby.
Rath, he's speaking with the men who, she said, identified themselves as ICE.
Whipped out a badge really quickly and then flashed a photo of someone on their phone. And then they said, we're looking for this person. I said, this person doesn't work here. They had said, well, we see her in the back right now.
Oh, so you lied to ICE agents. Arrest her. Literally arrest Arepa now. You gotta arrest Arepa. She's obstructing justice. She is literally doing an obstruction of justice that she admitted to on camera. We have to actually crack down on this, man.
And I said, that person is not here.
You are literally harboring illegals and lying to law enforcement to protect them. You should go to jail. Like, dude, Trump administration needs to ramp this up 1,000x.
Harboring criminals. There are federal fugitives working at some of these businesses who ICE agents say they saw in this restaurant, and the restaurant people protected them.
Naomi refused to let the men into the restaurant's back of house.
They said, we don't need a warrant.
They don't.
I said, yes, you do.
She says the men told them the restaurant was surrounded and they'd be waiting outside for the individual they were looking to apprehend.
I guess it's just sort of this fight or flight sort of response. Get the license plate.
Look, it's not worth it for them to stay there for one person.
As they say, the men left the parking lot in two vehicles.
Get zero
I think it's posturing. I think it's intimidation.
Ola Arepa's owner and...
Look, these people need to get obliterated, man. Legally, obviously. Like, they need to go to jail. They need to go to jail. Like, we can't survive when we have the gay mafia preventing us from doing our job. You know? Like, this is crazy. Oh, my God.
And safely escorted employees to their car. She says her surveillance cameras also captured ICE leaving her lot the morning before.
Oh, wow.
The National Immigration Law Center says ICE needs a judicial warrant to enter a private area of a business. An administrative warrant does not allow agents to enter private areas without your permission.
But they can enter areas that are generally accessible. Like if a business has its front door open, they can go in there. The kitchen area is technically private. That's why they, I guess, asked for permission. There's debate over this because if a fugitive is seen fleeing into a private area, they're allowed to pursue that person and they don't need a warrant. But the most maddening thing about this story...
I don't know, man. I feel like they gotta immediately arrest these people. Like, ICE is just... like, they don't want to do that. Like, they know the amount of shit they're gonna get. They know that people are gonna show up to their houses, harass their families. Like, this is crazy, dude.
Is what we're learning of the devious schemes people were using to pull money out of the welfare agencies that are supposed to be helping people.
They had 3 very elaborate schemes.
Elaborate schemes.
The first scheme was simple.
Oh boy, 3 elaborate schemes. That's crazy. Dude, someone in my chat is spamming that you know nothing of Islam. Islam is a religion of peace. Yeah, I'm banning you for spamming. Yeah, I actually think I know more about it than you do. You should do more reading.
On supposedly feeding hungry children in the Somali community.
And they threaten
like they really think that I'm gonna like fall for this. Like I'm not trying to be rude here, but they really think that I'm gonna fall for it. I'm gonna see a guy in my chat say, "But what do you mean? What are you talking about? That's crazy." You really think I'm gonna fall for this, man? Get out of here, bro. Like, what are we talking about, dude? Actual fucking bot. Like, it's crazy. And here's the thing. I don't even hate every Muslim. Despite the fact that I don't like Islam at all. I don't even hate every Muslim. Know that? I don't. That's how anti-racist I am. But I hate the radicals. And I hate the ones that actually follow Islamic law. Like, to their extreme. Absolutely. It says kill the kafar in the thing. They want you dead. They want me dead. Like, the radicals, every single one of them wants me dead. Why should I love them? All right? The religion of peace, they say, as they kill you. Get out of here, man.
Hungry children in the Somali community.
And they threaten the government.
A group, a nonprofit run by some people with Somali ancestry. The name of the nonprofit was called...
If the law calls them to be extreme, aren't they all extreme? Not all of them follow the law. But the ones that actually follow the law to the way the law is written are all extreme. Yeah, absolutely.
Feeding our future. Feeding our future.
Yeah, feeding themselves.
Feeding our future went to the welfare authorities in the state of Minnesota, which of course was administering federal taxpayer money, and they said, "Look, feeding our children said, feeding our future said, we want to feed hungry children in the Somali community." Right. And the welfare people in state government in Minnesota gave them the money to do that. It started out very small.
That's how all fraud starts.
But the idea was that Feeding the Future, the Somali nonprofit organization, would take this federal taxpayer money, American taxpayer money, and go to businesses, most of which were Somali businesses.
Spend it there.
In the Somali community, and set up feeding sites where they supposedly would take children to get a hot meal. On paper, it sounded great.
It didn't actually happen.
Yeah, as I say, it started out very, very small.
There were restaurants that said they fed 18,000 people a month and were like the size of the room I'm in.
It got bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And more businesses.
And you wonder why no one noticed.
In the Somali community signed up to be feeding sites.
Yeah, and some of them were so
small. In our future, the Somali nonprofit going back to the Social Services Department in Minnesota saying, we need more money, we need more money.
What a grift.
And at the height of the fraud, they were spending about $100 million
That's
a year.
Bro.
Not over the lifetime of the program, $100 million.
It got bigger and bigger and bigger, and we all know it rhymes with bigger. I'm sorry.
$10 a year.
That's insane.
There's just one problem. There were no hungry children.
Right. There were no
hungry children.
Of course they have the Palestine flag. Of course they have the Palestine flag. That was another fake starvation campaign. Oh my God, I have to stop doing this, man. I say shit that gets me canceled every single day. All right. No. My God.
They just weren't getting any of the money.
These places signed up to be feeding stations, and they had like no tables in some of these places. There were restaurants that said, oh yeah, we're a feeding station, but no meals were ever distributed there. They just ran business as usual and collected government money for...
So in that case, it's not like Palestine, because in Gaza, actually, there were meals distributed. So that's the difference. The difference between Gaza and Minneapolis is that Gaza actually did get meals distributed to children, and Minneapolis did not. That's the fundamental difference here between the two.
Programs that didn't even exist.
The place that was in the middle of a pretendicide was actually getting food for kids. And the community in America wasn't. That's the difference, yeah.
It's crazy. But wait till you hear what other schemes...
Run by someone of Somali ancestry. And this nonprofit went to a bunch of providers who supposedly were going to provide housing.
Housing. Great. We love housing.
And
housing
they
and
told
food.
The welfare authorities in Minnesota that they needed millions of dollars to house people who were homeless.
Right.
And once again, the program started out small. When they started it in 2020, these crooks started it in 2020.
These crooks, thank you.
They said, we only need $2.6 million.
Only.
Right.
But then in 2021, they said we need $21 million.
1 year later, 10 times the money.
In the following years, they said we need $42 million.
Dude, how did they fall for this? The answer is they didn't fall for it, and they were in on it. That's the answer. They had to be in on it. There's no feasible way they weren't in on this, man. Like, I would be shocked. I would be shocked. There's no way they're not in on this. They go to the government with 10 times the request every year for 5 years in a row for infinite housing, and no new houses are being built, and they're writing them checks. Oh my God, dude.
They just kept pulling.
Then $74 million.
$74 million.
I love how, like, the entire, like, illegal immigration narrative that actually illegal immigrants contribute to America much more than they take. That entire narrative is so fucking dead, and it's because we imported a fucking retard population of pirates. Like, the entire narrative is over. The narrative is over.
Or rather, to house the homeless.
To house the homeless.
Then $104 million. A year. Not
a year.
A scheme.
A year.
There's just one problem. None of the money was going for housing.
I mean, you've got every nonprofit grifter in America watching this happen and saying, gee, they're all taking notes. They're all watching this. They're all taking notes. They're all trying to...
Bro, it would never work anywhere else. I think people don't understand something fundamental here, and that is the fact that this community is electing officials, all right? Even the mayor Frey, all right, that dude literally got elected because he sucked the cock of the Somali community, all right? This is a community that was brought as a giant voting bloc to shift elections in Minnesota, right? People don't realize that this could change the entire country. It's only 80,000 people in Minnesota. It is a voting bloc that's deciding elections in a state. On a state level, elections are being decided because a retard opened the floodgates, okay? All right, you have to understand, this has an effect on the entire country. It really does. Okay? Now, that happened. So all these retards are super happy to let them get away with everything. Because, hey, all right, so they'll get away with a couple $100 million of scams. All right, but they'll vote for me. But they'll put me in power forever. That's what they're doing, man.
Figure out how they could replicate these schemes in other sanctuary areas of the country. And you know something? After this, we're going to find out there's all kinds of fraud.
I agree.
Plundering the U.S. taxpayer all across this land.
I bet.
None of the money was going to help people who were homeless. These providing this nonprofit.
Where are the checks and balances?
Just put the money in their pocket.
Yeah, and bought houses and stuff. This is crazy.
But there's more.
There's more. Oh, there's more.
They came up with a third scheme.
Well, what's this one? Tell me about this one.
This one just...
Dude, I love that Kennedy, when he gave this speech on the Senate floor, he just has a giant sign that says taxpayer dollars. He's like, I want to make this clear. This is the money we're talking about, all right?
This one makes you want to throw up in a potted plant. This one's centered around autistic children.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
that.
this.
So I actually have a theory. And I know what you're going to say. I'll explain my theory as we go on.
Fake billing.
Once again, in this third program, a group of providers, supposedly medical providers, got together and they went to the welfare authorities in Minnesota and said, we need money to help autistic children.
Who does the welfare agency say no to? That's what I want to know. Who comes in the door and asks these people for tens of millions of dollars and gets turned away? Because it looks like they're giving money to whoever asks, as long as they threaten them. And as long as they tell them, if you don't help us, we're going to call you out for attacking our community. But as it turns out, they're making...
So let me tell you my theory. All right, let me tell you my theory about the autism claims. Hear me out. If you saw a group of kids with an IQ of 67, and they were like, I don't know, they were scratching their butt and then using that same hand to pick their nose or whatever the fuck was going on. They were eating their boogers, okay? And this guy walks in, all right? And bro walks in with like a whole group of these kids, all right? And he's like, listen, these are all autistic. I have to stop. Oh my God, I'm going too hard, man. We gotta calm down. And then the healthcare provider will be like, gee willikers, these kids are retarded. All right, anyway, okay. All right, let's see what's going on with Tim Walz.
As we learn new detailed investigation into the $1 billion welfare fraud scandal.
Watch this.
In new reports claiming Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar has deep ties to people who personally profited from the alleged fraud. That list includes one of her former campaign officials and a co-owner of the restaurant where Omar held her 2018 congressional victory party. It is important to note the Congresswoman...
Why do you think she keeps winning despite being a retarded, inbred person that married her brother? Why do you think she keeps winning elections if it's not obviously because she's importing voters? It's so frustrating, man.
Has not been directly linked to the fraud herself.
This was a party fraud redistribution scheme.
Taxpayer money.
I mean, I agree. Dude, think about it. 5 years ago, Ilhan Omar was broke. Right now, Ilhan Omar is worth $40 billion. How does that happen? How the fuck does that happen?
Waste in the nation. And we've been sounding the alarm over the years. We're finally getting that national...
Did I say 40 billion? I meant 40 million. Did I say 40 billion? Chat's correcting. I meant 40 million, not billion. Not billion. $40 million. But still, that's insane.
And that we need so much here in our state to have full investigations.
Would there be an investigation?
But you're right. It's over $1 billion in taxpayer dollars that have gone out to fraud. Instead of going to the people that needed those the most.
Tim Walz is up for re-election. What are people in Minnesota saying about this?
Yeah, will he get re-elected? Probably.
Tim Walz is up for his third election here in the state of Minnesota. People were surprised when he was reelected for a second time. But when he was on the national stage just a year ago, it really let the nation know truly who Tim Walz is. Definitely
not a great guy.
Minnesotans know his favorability is underwater right now. It's less than 50%. And it's mostly because he has not handled fraud and he's increased our taxes and fees and spent through a record surplus.
So taxes went up for people living in America's most fraudulent state so that money could be taken and given to people who buy luxury homes and send it out of the country. Unbelievable.
He said this could be just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow. It's probably happening in other states
north
too.
Almost to $2 billion.
$2 billion.
Again, these are taxpayer dollars that have been stolen by fraudsters here in the state of Minnesota.
Well, in 2020, according to the New York Times,
it's complete insanity. It is absolute and complete insanity, dude.
Minnesota Department of Education actually questioning Feeding Our Future, which is one of these fraudulent organizations, about all the requests that they were making. And the organization actually threatened the state agency and said that if you don't give us what we want, we're going to sue you, accuse you of racism. And I don't think we really want that.
It's crazy how far this got. It's crazy how far this got. You just got people, they show up and they're like, we're going to scam you and we're going to call you racist if you call us out. And then it's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
There it is again. That has been used to justify theft.
It's so over. No one cares anymore, man.
And what a scam that is on people who are empathetic.
We gotta stop that, the fucking, like, the racism shit, man. Like, we gotta stop. We gotta wake up and realize that discrimination is actually kind of a good thing. Is actually a good thing.
And want to help children and want to help the less fortunate. Nobody was getting fed. Nobody was getting treated. Nobody was getting homes. Whoever was supposed to go out and say, gee, show me the building that you built and all the homeless people that are now living here who aren't on the streets.
Yeah,
can you show it to me?
Again, there are two options. Option one is they're in on it, which is super obvious, all right? Super freaking obvious. So that's option one. Option two, and this one's even more likely, or less likely rather, that they were fooled by people with an IQ of 67. And they were like, oh, we just built 7 houses for homeless people. Oh, good job, guys. Meanwhile, no houses were built, and all the people that were raising the money are all rich. Like, come on, dude. Like, what are we doing? Like, these are the two options. Either they were in on it, or they were fooled in the most dumb fuck fraud ring of all time.
No one even asked to see any evidence that the money was even being used appropriately, and when they did, they were threatened. And of course they caved, because these are people with no morals spending your money on somebody else. They don't care, but I care. Do you? Are you happy you voted the way you did in the last election? Did America dodge a big one here by not having a fraudulent governor sitting in the White House calling the
Yeah, dude, Tim Walz was one step away from becoming vice president of the United States. Actually crazy. So, you know, I got these guys over here. Like, look at my chat right now. I get like these every time I talk about this, I get these absolute degenerates popping in. Like these more of these radical Islamist pieces of shit. At least I have purpose in life, bitch. You're going to hell. Fuck your country. Fuck your country. That's why your president sucked Muslims' dick. Fuck you. Like, bro, the nicest guy of all time. I am a U.S.-born American Muslim who was raised by immigrant parents. This country was built off the backbone of hardworking immigrants. Liar, who was built by settlers, who used slavery to their advantage. Yeah, like every single other country on the world. And like, for example, almost every single Muslim country today, which still has slaves, all right? Like Saudi Arabia, all right? Every single Muslim country today still has slaves. Like Iraq, like Iran. Where is the Christian values that you don't know anything about? I never claimed I had Christian values. Islam, please stop entertaining 600 view bots. It's a slow day. I only have 600 viewers. You Nick Shirley. I didn't know that was an insult. Nick Shirley's great. This crackhead in the corner. Yeah, so Islamic hate. You know, anyway, classic. So I'm going to ban you for spamming, obviously. But thank you so much for being here. I hope that that this stream woke you up to the fact that your prophet's a pedophile. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.